Hi, I'm Greg Peters, sales agronomist for LG Seeds in Western Iowa, and today we're going to look at corn rootworm. One of the other challenges that we see in terms of the population, as you can look behind me, there's actually volunteer corn in this field. What volunteer corn does is when it gets open pollinated, 25% of the progeny will not express a corn rootworm trait. And actually, if we have conventional corn around that, it will be a higher percentage in that. So what that does is it allows that rootworm to start getting developed. And the bigger that larvae gets, the harder they are to control. And that's what that is buying time on, is that. And the other thing is we're seeing some weeds have that same benefit to the rootworm. Barnyard grass in northern, and tall crabgrass, and we're actually seeing fall panicum, and there's several others that are suspicion that can actually provide growth to them, and there's actually some research that's showing that they can survive on those weed species as well. So weed control is another thing that's very important. So where are we going from here? When we're scouting, I think one of the biggest things is you look at your soil types more than anything. Corn rootworm, they generally like more loamy soils. They don't like sandy soils or highly compacted soils because they have to have the pore space that they can actually get through, because after they hatch, they generally have 16 to 24 hours to get to that root to get fed on, or they will die in that type of situation. So the quicker they can get to the root, the better off they are, and that's really what they're looking for. One of the other things we've seen is fertility has had an issue on it. It seems like the beetles can actually sense high fertility situations in the field, and that seems to attract them to it. So what are we going to do on down the road? I think one of the biggest things that we've been promoting is if we're in a high population in terms of the beetle counts, we're recommending going into a rotation with soybeans. Even just 1 year will buy us quite a bit of time in that, with that situation. The other thing is we're looking at Smart Stacks Pro as we're going down the road. I think Smart Stacks Pro is going to be a nice alternative for us, and what that is doing, it is actually eliminates a protein that the rootworm actually needs to develop on it with the RNAi technology. So I think it's going to buy us a lot of time. Generally, in the past, there was some research that we did in 2014 through 16. Generally, when we looked at the root scores, they were very similar to the Smart Stacks. But the big thing you're going to see is reduction in the beetle emergence from the field. So if we get a reduction in the beetle emergence, we're going to have a reduction in egg laying. And that's really what we're looking for more than anything. Some other things that we're looking at, I know Cornell University is looking at some parasitic nematodes that actually feed on the larvae themselves. And I know Iowa State's doing research on that in Northeast Iowa, and I know University of Nebraska is doing it out in Western Nebraska. So the early research that I saw on that was it provided very good control, especially when we were under moisture situations. And with that, we were showing up to 100% control. So I think as we move on down the road, we're going to have several alternatives. And I think the thing that's really going to help us is we're going to have the ability to throw more than one thing at these, and hopefully we can decrease this situation.